I'm gonna think big. I've got nothing to lose. I'm gonna teach myself to play guitar and tie my shoes. I'm gonna learn to whistle soon. And someday I'll go walking on the moon. I'm gonna be brave, and I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna learn to take care of myself when I'm alone. I can't think of much I can't do. And someday I'll go walking on the moon.
Isn't it interesting that we get a manual with any appliance we buy, yet we're completely on our own when it comes to raising children? Most caregivers take their childhood experience and add in their beliefs to create their best guess on what should be in their discipline toolbox. Sometimes both parents can't even agree on those discipline tools, and that makes it even more difficult for family life and challenging. The first step to more effective parenting is to understand that raising children today is far more challenging than it was when we ourselves were children. The world is moving much faster, and because of this, parents have less time with their kids. The children can sense it, and it causes them to demonstrate their frustration quicker with more intensity. Another factor is that back when we were young, the entire world seemed to discipline the same way. The adults around us all believed that they should raise compliant children, and that's what we did. We complied. Today, that blanket belief system on discipline is gone, and there are more parenting styles and methods than we can keep track of. The result is more frustration for the caregiver as well as the child. The first step in making change at home is to examine what is in our discipline toolbox and decide if it needs a little modernization. So when children act out and misbehave, and we find ourselves as parents and teachers, one of the things we do is we go to our discipline toolbox and we pull something out to use on our children. So for the benefit of this exercise, I just want to show you what some of the discipline tools tend to be like that parents and caregivers of all sorts pull out of their discipline toolbox. So one of the first things that I find that caregivers pull out is the old guilt card, right? And so you may hear parents saying things like, do you know how many hours Mommy had to work to earn the money to buy that dress for you, and look what you did to it? We're pulling from an old discipline toolbox in a modern age with a challenging child. Another thing that parents tend to pull out of their discipline toolbox, in fact, this is used more in modern times than it ever was when we were children, is the magic wand. This is used by the parents who do everything for their child. They pull that magic wand out and they take care of everything. They live in a mode of efficiency, or because they feel so guilty for not having much time with their children, it's just easier to do it for the child, right? So you hear parents say things like, honey, you go to bed and I'll finish your homework. Timeout was designed by the experts to be used in only one situation, and that situation is when a child is out of control. That means the child can no longer hear what you're saying. They cannot cognitively process what you're speaking to them about as an adult or a parent. So the expert psychologist years ago said timeout should be a place that is designated in advance by the parents and set up in advance so that the child will learn to go there on their own and calm themselves down. The problem is it's being used as arbitrary punishment. Now, first of all, don't get me wrong. Many children who are diagnosed with ADD, ADHD truly need their medication. The problem is a lot of children are getting thrown into the same bucket because some adults are realizing that, you know what, Johnny's a little challenging to care for, but if I medicate him, he's so much easier. So some children are slipping under that wire, and they don't need yelling and screaming. How many times do I have to tell you to get in there and pick up those? You stop hitting your brother right. If I see you do that one more time, now you knock it off. Young man, get over here. How about we always had the special name that our parents called us, right, when we knew we were in trouble? The formal name. My name was William. When I heard William, I knew it was bad. I knew it was bad. So the problem is we're yelling and screaming. You're good at Grandma's house. In fact, you'll get an extra ice cream cone when we come home. Oh, if you stop hitting your sister, you'll get one of those new cupcakes that Mommy brought home from the store. Oh, I'll give you $1 for every A on your report card. This is bribery. This is training children to do things because you want them to do it. And it's actually created an external focus. An external focus. The child is no longer concentrating on what I can do or should do. It's all about the reward. We need to stop pulling tools from the old discipline toolbox. And it's now time to modernize. It's about time that we begin to rebuild our discipline toolbox and make sure we have things in there that'll work for today's challenging child. I'm going to challenge you. And I'm going to start showing you some methods that you can start pulling out of your modern discipline toolbox. Have you ever thought about adopting? Coming up in the next segment, you're going to meet a child who is hoping someone will. Stay with me as we learn more about the adoption process. According to a survey published in 2005, over 1/3 of Americans have considered adopting, yet only 2% have actually followed through to make it happen. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services reports that there were over 144,000 children in U.S. foster care waiting to be adopted just in 2009. So what is the agency in most states that are actively finding homes for these children? With me on the show today is Katie Churchill, Adoption Resource Specialist with the Connecticut Department of Children and Families. Thank you for joining me, Katie.
Thank you for having me.
So I understand that you've been with DCF since 1993. That's
Correct.
Quite a long time.
Yeah.
And you've worked on the Adoption Resource Exchange since 2004.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what the exchange does. What's that about?
Well, one of the exciting things that we do is we do specialized recruitment for some of our children that don't have families at this time. So they're children that need adoptive families, and we haven't been able to find that through our work traditionally, and so we're doing things like coming on here and telling people about these children.
Listen, I thank you so much for coming
Thank
out because
you.
I know your workload is incredibly full, and to come out here and to tell us about Zario is excellent.
Well,
And
we're
so
excited to be
we look
here.
forward to featuring more children in the future.
Great.
Great. One of the top parent complaints I get in my parenting workshops is, how do I get my kids to cooperate? Well, coming up in the next segment, I'm going to show you one of the greatest inventions in modern-day parenting. You will definitely want to add one of these to your discipline toolbox. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Would you like to know how to get your kids to shut off that video game and get to their homework? How about a solution for the preschooler who takes forever to eat her meal? I've got a tool for you that will help you get more cooperation, but first let's examine
When we wake
the
up in the
problem.
morning,
Usually we're so stressed before we even get out of bed, right? Before your feet hit the floor. When we wake up, our mind registers the next 17 things we have to do. And then we get so stressed out. And that's the way life is as an adult, because today everything is moving so quickly, it's so fast, we can't keep up with it. Your children aren't like that. They operate completely differently. When they get up and their mind comes to life first thing in the morning, they start thinking like, what am I going to do today? They think their day is this big, giant, nebulous sea of do anything. Today, I get visual timers work differently. And what a visual timer is, and this one, by the way, is courtesy of Time Timer that provided this one for us. On a visual timer, you set the dial to how much time a child has for an activity. And the mechanism inside, and I think that's what the coolest thing about this device, it slowly pulls the red dial back until the time expires. Because they don't understand commerce. They don't understand the passing of time. So again, using visual timers breaking up a child's day into segments, you'll be far more successful with getting the cooperation that you need. So I've been working with parents on rebuilding their discipline toolbox for over 15 years, and my greatest reward is hearing about their success in implementing changes that work. In my next segment, you'll get to meet two of those parents who will be here to share with us what they did that worked and how they did it. We'll be right back after this break, so stay with us. Throughout our childhood, our parents constantly reminded us of what we didn't do well. They believed that if they brought our mistakes to our attention, we would change. Today we know better, and experts have helped us realize that if we remain focused on our small successes, we will actually improve. Because this can be applied to parenting, in this segment we will meet two parents who have several successes to share that we can all learn from. With me today is Erin Gaskell, a mother of 3 girls ages 3, 6, and 8, and Doreen Zulkowski, also a mother of 3 children. Her son is 10, and 2 daughters are 3 and 7. Thanks for being here, ladies.
Thank you.
So I understand, and we've talked before, that you've had some successes implementing some of these things from the modernized discipline toolbox.
Starting a cooperation list, and sometimes life gets really crazy. The house gets messy. There's toys everywhere. Things get a little out of hand, and I need a little more order in the house. So from one of your suggestions, we started a cooperation list.
In the morning, when we are getting ready to go to school and to daycare, I help my daughters, especially my 3-year-old, by giving her choices, not saying to her, okay, now we need to get dressed, but do you want to wear your green shirt?
These are so important
shirt?
Because through these successes, you're going to become more encouraged as a parent and be able to do a lot better as a parent. In my final segment coming up, I answer some questions from parents on various topics of parenting and discipline. After the break, I'll be taking a question that you or someone you know may have, so stay with us through the break. We'll be right back. Implement just one new thing from what you've seen here today. If it doesn't work first time, do it again anyway. If you mess up, forgive yourself and stay the course. Remaining focused on just the positive results will keep you encouraged. Building on that encouragement will help you bring more peace and cooperation at home. Remember, it takes 21 days of practicing a new habit to implement true change. I hope you will join me for future episodes of this program as I offer more tools to help you rebuild your discipline toolbox. If you'd like to get this program in your local viewing area, contact your local public access channel and find out how. Making the world a better place to live begins at home as parents. I'm Bill Corbett, and I'll see you the next time on Creating Cooperative Kids.